Covert narcissists are notoriously difficult to spot, and this is because they don't fit the stereotype of a narcissist. Actually, they can be quite the opposite. So we tend to think of people who are outwardly grandiose when we think of narcissism. These are people who are so happy to brag about their accomplishments and tell you how amazing they are. And this does describe one type of narcissist, but not the covert narcissist. The covert narcissist can actually be insecure, shy, awkward, vulnerable. These are all words you can use to describe this type of narcissist. But that's what makes them so dangerous, because you can't easily spot them. So a lot of times people will find themselves in relationships with someone who is a covert narcissist, and they don't realize until the abuse is already underway, because the abuse often happens so subtly. So how do you keep yourself safe? In this video, I'm going to share 6 ways to get that covert narcissist to show his true colors. So stay tuned. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and today I'm going to share with you tips for getting the covert narcissist to show his true colors, because we know that those true colors are hidden way far beneath the surface. And if you're in a relationship with somebody that you suspect might be a covert narcissist and you're suspecting some emotional abuse, these are great tips to help you figure out whether you might be dealing with a covert narcissist. Now, in this video, I'm going to be referring to the covert narcissist as he. We all know that a covert narcissist could be a he or a she, but just for the sake of clarity, I'm just going to say he for this video, but all of these tips still apply if the covert narcissist in your life is a female. And one last thing I want to say before I get to the 6 tips. If you are dealing with a narcissist, covert or otherwise, who is especially malignant or violent, or both, you don't want to use these tips. You don't want to actually get that narcissist to show his true colors. You're already seeing enough of those true colors to know that you need to get yourself out of this situation. And your priority should be to get yourself out safely and quickly. But if you're dealing with a very subtle abuser, which is common with covert narcissists, these tips should help you get that narcissist to show his true colors. Okay, so let's get started. My first tip is to ask for empathy. Now, of course, you're not going to walk up to this person and say, hey, can you give me some empathy? Obviously, you have to be in more of a genuine situation. Now, you've probably been in situations before with this person where you have seen some level of empathy. And covert narcissists can be very good at faking empathy, but they're not always going to be able to do it. And the key to getting them to expose their true colors is to ask for empathy when they don't want or need anything from you. So this tip probably won't work in the love bombing phase, because in the love bombing phase, they want and need your admiration. But once you've gotten past the love bombing phase, you should be able to use this pretty effectively. So when you ask for empathy, when I talk about asking for empathy, what I'm talking about is maybe just something simple like telling a story from your day, something that bothered you, upset you, something that made you sad, and seeing how this person reacts. If they don't actively want or need something from you, you are very likely to see that the narcissist does not care a bit about what you have going on in your life, about your feelings. So this person will probably react in one of 3 ways. 1, they might just start talking over you and circling the conversation back to them. Like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this time, and then this long story that you can't seem to pull back to yourself. Or the narcissist might just look visibly bored with what you're saying. He might roll his eyes and just have this look on his face like, is this over yet? You'll see that from their reaction that they really don't care about what you're saying, and they're also not showing any empathy to you about what you're talking about. And another thing they might do is start an argument. So they could, if it's a conflict situation that you're talking about, they might side with the other person, or if it's another situation, just in some way play devil's advocate to get you upset, to push your buttons and get you to react. So then suddenly you're in an argument and it's a back and forth between you and the narcissist, and it has taken the focus away from the thing that had nothing to do with the narcissist, because that was boring. If it doesn't have anything to do with the narcissist, it is completely boring and irrelevant and frankly annoying. So the second way you can get a narcissist to show his true colors is by saying no. And I've given this tip before, so I'm just gonna get right to it and be quick about it. Say no to something that the narcissist really wants. It could be something super simple, like I want to go to dinner at this certain place. But if you could tell he really wants it, usually what you would do in that case is just cave, right? Because it's not that important, who cares? Don't cave. Say no and see how the narcissist reacts. Narcissists do not like hearing the word no. So in some cases, they might be able to handle it if it's something they don't really care about. But if you can tell they're trying to control the outcome of something, don't let them do it and see how they react. What you're likely to see is a lot of guilt tripping and some adult tantrums. Fun stuff. All right, so a third way you can get a narcissist to show his true colors is to ask about his ex. And you could do this at any point in the relationship, and you could do it probably at every point in the relationship. So in the early stages, you might ask about previous relationships. You know, what was the relationship like that you were most recently in? And with a covert narcissist, you're likely to get one of two responses. There's not really a whole lot of in between. So you will either get that the person he was in a relationship with was absolutely bonkers, or his ex is his best friend. There's really usually not a lot of gray area in between. And the reason for that is because the ex who's crazy is not giving them supply, and the ex who's the best friend is giving them supply. So the fourth way to get a narcissist to show his true colors is to push those buttons that you know he has. Covert narcissists are especially sensitive people. And if you've been in a relationship with somebody who is a covert narcissist for long enough, you probably already know this. They might seem cool and collected under a situation that you might think is especially stressful, but if you say the right thing or the wrong thing, that it will set them off into a rage, and that is just completely unexpected. This rage might actually be a narcissistic rage, and it's a result of a narcissistic injury. So a narcissistic injury is anything that challenges the narcissist's false perception of himself. And you might think it's hard to find these buttons, but let me tell you, it is not. And if you are in a relationship with a covert narcissist, you probably already know this on some level. You can think back to some example of a time when you did or said something and the person reacted way out of proportion for the situation, just blew up, and you're left like, what just happened here? And you know, if you've been through it before, so we all have triggers, right? We can all overreact, but if you've been through this before, you know it's different. You know it's kind of hard to explain. It's just a completely disproportionate, way out of proportion reaction to the situation. So you know it's something that you've never experienced with anyone else before. Okay, so my fifth tip for getting that covert narcissist to show his true colors is to ask about something that you know he's hiding. So covert narcissists will always have some sort of secrets. It's just part of who they are. So usually it's cheating, but there could also be other secrets that they're keeping from you, and it could be silly stuff. So if you're in a relationship long enough, you'll probably encounter situations where you know something and you know that the narcissist doesn't want you to know that thing. And again, it could be something really simple and silly. But if you ask about it, maybe in a couple of different ways, ask once, ask twice, and but I don't know, does that make sense? Just push it a little bit, even gently, and you will see the reaction. The reaction, again, is probably going to be rage, along with a whole lot of gaslighting. And this is definitely the narcissist's true colors. But the interesting thing about this is that if you happen to know the thing that the narcissist is hiding, and know that he doesn't want you to know, you have a unique advantage, because in this situation, you're kind of testing the waters. Okay, I know he's hiding this thing. I know he doesn't want me to know. And this is how he's behaving. So let me think back to every time he has behaved this way in the past. And oh yeah, lots of times with that best friend X, or whatever it is that your intuition had been telling you he was hiding from you, whenever he has reacted that way, you can bet that your gut was right. And the sixth way to get the narcissist to show his true colors is just give it time. I mean, if you don't want to try any of the others on this list, you don't have to. Just give it time. The covert narcissist will eventually show his true colors. If you're in a relationship with someone, especially someone who has a false persona, it's gonna slip. The mask is gonna slip, and you're gonna see what's underneath. It's gonna be a situation where you really need their empathy and they don't give it to you. Or it might be a situation where you accidentally cause a narcissistic injury. Or it could be something where you stumble upon something that the person is trying to hide and you didn't even know you stumbled upon it. But boom, there goes the gaslighting. Eventually this person is going to show his true colors. So those are my best tips for getting the covert narcissist to show his true colors. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen the mask slip? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post new videos. And I will see you next time.